Hey, Bentonville Church. Hopefully you guys are doing well this weekend. Hopefully you're staying warm. I'm coming to you from my office this morning. And so, it's good I can't see you. Hopefully it's good for you to see me. We'll look forward to being back together next Sunday. But just wanted to share a quick video and kind of wrap up our Core 52 series that we've been into, Your Best You. And our last chapter for that series, which is chapter 29, is on rest. And so kind of fitting that it happens this weekend where we have been kind of forced into a little bit of rest, right? Core 52, chapter 29 on rest. And again, wrapping up Your Best You. The theme verse for today is Mark chapter 2, verses 27 and 28. And we're actually not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about that. We're not going to spend any time talking about that verse today. What I want to do is look at two passages, one Genesis 1 and then John chapter 15. And just talk about this idea of rest and work, these two things, and how we can hold them well in our lives. But let's start by looking at Genesis chapter 1. If you have been reading through the Bible, you probably, Genesis 1 is a chapter that gets read often, and so maybe you're familiar with it. As you read Genesis chapter 1, there are a few things that get repeated a number of different times in the chapter. One of those things is, and God saw that it was good. Whenever he's creating things, whenever he's creating the world, God saw that it was good. Whenever he gets to Adam and Eve, God saw that it was very good. And so that's one of the phrases that gets repeated in Genesis chapter 1. Another one that gets repeated is this: there was evening and there was morning the first day. There was evening and there was morning the second day. And maybe as you read that might stand out to you, because he doesn't say there was morning and there was evening the first day. No, it's evening and then morning. And I think that's intentional. Here's what I think that means. Biblically, the day doesn't start with work. The day starts with rest. And that means that God designed us to work from rest, not to rest from work. And that's maybe the most important thing that we're going to talk about today. And so I want to say it again. God designed us to work from rest rather than resting from work. But the tension is, I think, that most of us tend to do the opposite of that. We empty ourselves our week. We push harder. We try to do as much as we can. We try to stay busy. And by the end of the week, we're just running on fumes. And so then we got to kind of take a break. We got to try and recover and get some rest so that we can do it all over again. But the Bible says something different. The Bible offers a different way. And that's connected to what Jesus has to say in John chapter 15. We're trying to produce first and then rest later. But John chapter 15 tells us something different. Verse 4 and 5, it says this: remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot bear fruit if it is severed from the vine, and you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. Yes, I am the vine, and you are the branches. Those who remain in me, and I in them, will produce much fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing. No branch can bear fruit by itself. Fruit doesn't come from more effort. Fruit comes from abiding. Fruit comes from this realization that we have to pull back into rest and let God be the one who produces the things that we can't. Okay, I want to have a little bit of fun. I spent some time and talked with my kiddos about this, and so I want to show you how that went. And so I'm going to cut to that, and then we'll cut back to this here in just a second. All right, do you guys want to say hey? Hi. Hey, Bentonville Church. Miss meeting with you guys this morning. All right, so here's what I want to do. I just want to ask you guys a few questions, and I just want you guys to answer them, okay? Mm-hmm. Here's the first one. Why do we go to bed before tomorrow? It's kind of a weird question, but why do we go to bed before tomorrow?
Because so we can be energized.
Okay, so we can have energy for the next day. That's good.
Yeah.
Everett, what about you?
So we can play with friends. Yeah.
The next day?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was going to say we could be rested to play tomorrow.
Okay, so we can be rested, so we're not tired, so we have energy. Is there a little bit of like you have to?
So
Because
like
Mom and
yeah,
Dad are making?
Yeah, so you don't have to be like cranky.
So like my ankle.
So you can fix your ankle,
No, hurt my ankle.
so you don't hurt your ankle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it not hurt me.
That's a good thought. Okay, next question. Did you know that God made the day start with rest and not work? So we're going to be talking about two things, rest and work. You guys are 10 and 7 and 3. You guys don't have actual jobs, but you do have some jobs, right? What are some of your jobs?
Doing chores.
Chores,
Cleaning, like doing the dishes. We did
doing
that.
the dishes.
Like,
Is school maybe one of your jobs right now?
Yeah.
Kind of. It's one of
Yeah.
your things that you have to do for work.
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about this idea of rest and work. But did you know that God made the day start with rest and not work? In the Bible, whenever God made the world, does anybody know what chapter that's from?
Genesis.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
book, Genesis chapter what?
1.
Genesis chapter 1, right? The very first chapter of the first book of the Bible is whenever God made the world. And it says this phrase in there. It says, there was evening and there was morning than the first day. There was evening and there was morning the second day. Hey, can you leave that alone, please? Hey, thanks.
These things.
Okay, and so what that means, and this is kind of weird for us to think about, but God made the day start with going to sleep. Think about that for a second. When do we usually think about the day starting? Whenever we what?
Wake up.
Whenever we wake up, right?
Wake up.
But if we think about Genesis chapter 1 and this phrase, there was evening first, and then there was morning. I think that means that God made the day start with going to sleep. Why do you think God would
Wait.
want us to start with rest?
So like evening the first day, and then you wake up till morning.
There was evening, and then you go to sleep, and then there was morning, and that's the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you think God would want us to start with rest?
So we could have a new day to start.
Okay, I know what do you think?
Instead of like.
Let me ask it this way. What happens if you don't sleep very well, if you don't get good sleep?
You get cranky.
Kind of grumpy
Tired.
and tired. How does doing school go whenever you're kind of tired and grumpy?
It's definitely 2 times 2 equals 27.
You're a little bit off.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't go as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so God wanted us to start with rest so that we could do what well? Do our what well?
Work well.
Our work well, right?
It says
So-
that in the New Testament of the Bible, I think. Right? It says that in the Bible. So is that work?
That He wants us to work
so
well.
is that
Yeah.
work?
So if God wants us to start with rest, hold on just a second and then I'll answer your question. If God wants us to start with rest, do you think He wants us to go into tomorrow tired or rested? Rested, right? God wants us to live from rest, not just try to rest after we're exhausted. So what typically happens is that I wake up and I start my day and I'm going to try and get as much done in the day as possible. I'm going to work. And then after I work, I'm going to be really tired and then I go to sleep and I try to rest.
Instead of not
But-
watching Sunday Night Football.
Instead, God says, hey, we're going to start with a good night of rest. We're going to start with good rest. And then the next day happens easier because
So
we
it's
rest.
like I'm going to get this done right now, so I don't have to do it later.
Me.
That? Yeah. Yeah, but
All right. Do you guys know what this is?
this also made me think of it like evening and morning. It made me think of the trick question, what came first, chicken or the egg?
It is kind of one of those pretty things.
Mhm.
You're right. All right, you guys know what this is?
It's called.
Do you know what it is, Rhett?
I forgot.
It's called a pendulum. Say pendulum.
Pendulum.
Have you ever seen a big clock with one of these hanging?
Yeah.
It goes tick, tick, tick. Okay.
It's
Now, what would happen if we pull the ball all the way up here and then let it go?
It'll go higher.
It's going to go higher, right? Okay? The higher you pull it up, the higher it's going to go on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Now, what happens if we just pull it back a little bit?
It'll go lower.
It doesn't go as far, right? Okay, so here's the thing that I want you guys to think about today. Where we start really matters, okay? Where we start really matters. If you start with a lot of space, if you start with a lot of momentum, if you start all the way up here at the top,
And you're well
and you have a lot of movement, you have a lot of rest, then you're going to get lots of motion, lots of energy, lots of movement to the other side. Your
Yeah,
work
look at
is
it.
going to be more successful, right? If you start with almost nothing,
And you watch Sunday Night Football.
you stay up too late, if you don't listen to your mom and dad,
I'm not going
if you don't
to
get
bed,
good
I'm gonna
rest,
stay up.
then you don't have a lot of energy for the next day, right?
Like too much.
God made our lives to function in this same way. Just like this pendulum, if we start our day rested and trusting God, then there's a lot more that can happen in our day. Okay, I kind of already asked this, but does God want us to start our day rested or tired?
Rested.
Rested, right? Now, in John chapter 15, there's a verse, and it talks about this idea where Jesus says he wants us to stay. Yeah, that's right. Where? Can you be quiet in a second? Yeah. Okay, so Jesus says that whenever we stay close to him, he helps grow good things in our lives. Okay? And so, whenever we're thinking about our pendulum, can I see our pendulum? And we're hanging right here. And we want lots of rest. The more rest we get, the more time we spend with God, the more what happens?
We go higher.
We get better work. He helps us do good things or grow good things in our lives.
It kind of also reminds me of roller coasters, kind of. Like the more higher you start, the more farther you will go.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
the Joker's thing.
Okay, so getting good rest and staying closer to Jesus helps us do better tomorrow. Helps us do better work. Now, that helps us be better physically, like it's just better for us to get good rest, but it also helps us spiritually. If we go back to Genesis chapter 1, one of the things that God tells us to do is to be fruitful, to do good work. And so if we have good rest, then we're able to do good work.
I never understand what he means about being fruitful.
It just means doing good things. Everett, do you know what it means to be fruitful?
To grow fruit, like if you were a tree and the fruit was good.
Okay, so yeah, if an apple tree is doing good, it's producing apples, right?
That's one way of saying it.
Okay, so if us as followers of Jesus are doing good,
Like,
what is the fruit that we're producing? If us as followers of Jesus are doing good, hey, can you go see Mom? Can you go find Mom? Okay, go see where she is. If us as followers of Jesus are doing good, then what are we producing?
Fruit.
What does that fruit look like in our lives?
Not doing sinful things.
Okay, doing the things that we're supposed to.
Doing good work.
What does that look like?
Us not being tired.
Maybe.
doing a good job on what your parents say. So, like, here's an
Being a good
example.
listener.
So, like, maybe if you're planning to, if they tell you to clean the dishes and you just stuff them on the closet or something,
You
that's
putting
not
dishes in the
really
closet?
a good thing.
Yeah. Do you guys remember what the fruit of the Spirit are?
Love,
Love.
Joy,
peace,
peace,
patience,
goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and
self-control.
Okay. So, if we have good rest, right? Put the rope down, right? If we have good rest. Oh no, our pendulum just broke. That's probably not a good sign. If we have good rest and we're staying close to Jesus, then what are the good things that are going to come out of our lives?
Energy, good energy, and good fruit.
What are the fruit?
Love for people and kindness, goodness,
Yeah, so if we rest in God, we're going to do a better job of being patient with our brother and sister.
And going farther.
If we rest in God, we're going to do a better job of having self-control whenever we're angry. If we rest in God,
we could
then we're going to do a better job of being kind to somebody that's hard to be kind to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if we don't do a good job resting in God and we just hang out down here and we don't get good rest, it's harder to show love. It's harder to show kindness. It's harder to show self-control, all of those things. Okay, so what was the thing that we need to remember?
If we have good rest, we can do good work.
Where we start
Matters.
right? And that's kind of the main point of this illustration, pendulum, although our pendulum keeps breaking. All right, that's all we're going to talk about. Say bye to everybody.
Bye.
So you don't really have to have kids to understand this, right? But whenever my kids don't sleep, they're irritable, they're less focused, they're impatient, really just less fun to be around. But that's not because they're bad kids. It's just because they're tired kids. But I think in John chapter 15, Jesus is saying the same thing is true of us spiritually. He said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Not you can do a little bit less. Not you're going to be a little weaker, but you might be able to get through it. No, apart from me, you can do nothing. And so what that means, I think, is that a lot of our frustration, a lot of our burnout, a lot of the lack of fruit in our lives is not because we are lazy. It's not because we're not trying hard enough, but rather because we are disconnected. We haven't spent enough time being connected to the vine. And so the effort that we put forward, the work that we try to do, the fruit that we try to produce, it falls flat. It's not as effective. And so I think some of us, I know that I struggle with this at different times in my life, where we're trying to push fruitfulness forward in our lives, trying to be more patient, trying to be more productive, more loving, trying to grow more spiritually in our lives. But the harder we push, the less fruit we seem to see in our lives. And so maybe this week, God's invitation is not for us to try harder, to push harder, to work harder. Maybe the invitation for us this week is to come to me. God's invitation for us, come to me, come and rest, abide in me. Start with rest. And here's the thing, this pattern has been here since Genesis chapter 1, right? Evening before morning, rest before work, abide, remain before fruit. And so maybe you and I can begin to learn to pull back into rest, to learn to slow down and to pause and to pray and to trust and to rest in the goodness of God. And I think whenever we do that, we'll begin to see fruit show itself up in our lives, and it's going to be fruit that you and I could not produce on our own, because God is the one who's working in and through us, because we have been connected to the vine. And so that's the challenge, not just this week whenever it's forced upon us, but as we get back into our regular patterns and regular routines and work and school, that we work from rest, that we work from a place of being connected to the vine, that fruit flows because we are connected to the vine, not because we've been trying harder or working harder or pushing ourselves to the very end. No, we have been resting, and so we're ready to go out and work, ready to be used by God in our lives. Hopefully that's an encouragement to you this morning. Hopefully it's a little bit of a challenge to you. Again, I hope you guys stay safe and stay warm this weekend, and we'll see you guys next Sunday. Also, a quick thing. This is a good time to say, hey, if you are not following us on Facebook, go and find the Adventure Church Facebook page and click follow. That way, if you're on Facebook, you'll see like different events that we have, that sort of thing. If you're on Instagram, go to our Instagram page and make sure you follow there. If you're on YouTube, which you're watching right now, be sure and subscribe. So anytime you miss a Sunday, you can go to YouTube and watch that sermon and be caught up yeah, just a good time to go and plug our social media accounts. And here's the thing: the more that you interact with social media and our posts, the more it gets pushed to other people in the community. That's kind of the way social media works these days. And so, yeah, if you like a post or if you engage with a post, comment, it's going to push that post to other people. And it's just a good way for us to share information with people who are not connected to church yet. And so, yeah, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, find Adventure Church, follow those, go to our YouTube page, subscribe to those. Anyway, that's enough of that advertisement right there. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next Sunday.